Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to join us today in our webinar session. Frederick, Kenneth, Wilson, Asanteni Sana for joining us this morning. Slightly overcast morning here in Nairobi. It's 11:01 a.m. and we are good to kick off our session today. And our focus is going to be on one of our security products, and we'll be looking at the access control, looking at the features, and of course seeing how we can be able to uncover opportunities in the market and position this particular product to your clients and to our partners as well. Just some house cleaning matters, but before I kick off, I'd like to welcome to this session George Mutai. George is from Axis and is going to be my co-host today. George, karibu sana, and thank you for taking your time to be with us this morning. On this call as well is the Hudaco Kenya team. We've got Robert, we've got Frederick as well, and we've got two other of our team members, both in technical and security, who will be available to you to respond to any of your questions. Irene, we see you on the call. Thank you very much, and karibu to this session. We've got a chat box on your far right of your screen. Please use that chat box to communicate with us during this session, as well as share with us your questions, and we will respond to them at the end of this session. We also have a question and answer tab at the bottom right of your screen. Feel free to share with us your questions there as well. At this point, I'd just like to do a brief introduction to Hudaco Kenya, just to set the pace for our discussion moving forward. And I will be sharing my screen with you, and I'd like you to confirm using the chat box that you can see my screen. Right, can you all see my screen? Thanks, Wilson. Thank you. George, are you there? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Fantastic, and welcome to this session, and thank you for joining us. Great. Just to take you through a brief of Hudaco Kenya. So Hudaco Kenya is part of the Hudaco industry group of companies, and we're a leading value-added distributor of quality, innovative, integrated security, which is our focus for our discussion today. And we'll be looking at the access control, IP-enabled voice and video and telecommunication solutions to the greater East Africa, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. We believe that IP technology is the future for communication and that it should be easily accessible to everyone. Our team of IP converged professionals, as I mentioned to you and introduced to you, who's on the call today, are dedicated to taking your business to the next level. We believe that we need to empower you in order to connect communities. We boast of over 17 years of industry knowledge, and that's across the group. We are very strong in the Southern African hemisphere as well. We are a group of the Hudaco group of companies, as I mentioned, and we're able to sell into Eastern Africa, Southern Africa space, Greater Central Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa. We are extremely focused on empowering our communities, empowering our teams, empowering our partners and our customers at large, and that's why we have, dedicated 2 days in a week to be able to deliver to you webinar sessions, just as a measure to be able to interact with you. On Fridays, with the exception of today, we do focus on our wireless and communication portfolio of products. And on Thursday afternoon, again, with the exception of today, we do focus on security. Our approach to the market is really from a value-added perspective, and so we want to walk the journey with you, right from the design phase of a project to developing, the full bill of quantities, to delivering the products to you, from an implementation perspective, providing you with support or providing your teams with the support through that process, as well as commissioning of the project, and of course post-sale support. And that is how we approach the market, and our mantra really is to offer a complete and holistic solution. Please follow us on our social media handles. That's at Hudaco Kenya and LinkedIn. And after this session, you will receive an automated message with the address to our YouTube channel, where we do post our webinar sessions, allowing you to be able to go back to these sessions at your own time, allowing you to be able to share with your peers, your customers, your partners, your brothers and sisters, as we continuously empower our environment. So why would you want to work with Hudaco Kenya? We have partnered with top international manufacturers to source solutions that meet your specific needs. These solutions, of course, are backed by our superior technical support and training through these sessions. And we believe that your success is our success. And to this end, we seek to build long-term business relationships based on mutual trust and are driven by offering exceptional customer service. From our security portfolio, we have partnered with a number of world-renowned brands such as Axis, who's our focus for discussion today. We've got Impro, we've got Tyco, you've got Uniview, and a number of other Optex and a number of other vendors that we believe have top-of-breed solutions and are well positioned for our market. We also have our wireless and security arm, our wireless and communication arm, and we've partnered with top brands such as Cambium, Ubiquiti, Grandstream, Microtech, amongst others. And that just gives you an idea of how we are positioned in the market and what we bring to you. I did mention to you that our focus is on value-added distributorship, which means that we tailor-make solutions for you. That's a whole array of diverse portfolio of technologies that we engage with. And we believe that these solutions bring value to you and to your customers. From a support perspective, I did mention that we have a dedicated team of technical resources sitting both here and across, the whole footprint within the group that are available to you to be able to provide you this support throughout the life cycle of the solutions that you then provide to your clients. We do partner very closely with the communication authorities in all the countries that we are able to sell into. And this is just to ensure that we do bring in solutions that are type approved and that are top of breed. And that will, of course, have a great impact in terms of delivering services to you. We know that COVID-19 has really thrown a great curveball in our economy, in our business operations. And even as we try to recover from it, we know that it is going to take time. And unfortunately, our clients' needs and requirements, do not have that luxury of time. So what we've done is that we've engaged with a number of organizations to allow us to be able to finance you, help you to be able to deliver to your customers, and then have credit terms with us, anything ranging from 7 to 30 days, allowing you to service your customers as you wait for payment. Very, very keen on training. We think that that's how we can add value to you and have provided platforms to be able to do this. We also have our training academy, that's Miro Academy, sitting in South Africa, that allows you to be able to get certification for some of these top brands. So that's just in a nutshell who we are. I'm not going to bore you with too much information around Hudaco. Our focus today, again, as I said, is access control. And at this point, I'd like to hand over the session to George, who's my co-host, and who will be taking us through that session. So over to you, George.
Thank you, Terry. So I think we'll begin. Just a quick introduction of myself. My name is George Mutai. I'm the sales engineer, Access Communications. And I will just run you through the access control. And from at the end of this webinar, you'll be able to see how easy it is to work with our access control system, how integratable it is with other systems as well, because it's based on an open platform. And then at the end of this, we'll be able to interact and see how other applications also work well with our access control. Okay, so let me just share my screen. installed as I set it up. Installed. Are you able to see the presentation? Just let me know so you can see the presentation.
Right. George, we can't see the presentation yet, but we'll help you put that up. Meanwhile, we've got Robert, who's also with us in our session today. Maybe Robert, you can talk to our participants briefly as we try to get this sorted. All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Robert. I'm in charge of project security and CCTV, and we welcome everybody on board. And feel free to ask questions. There will be some chat panel on your right where you can shoot your questions as the progress goes on, and we'll have a lovely time. In case of any anything, I can see there's some questions that there's a voice over. I think we'll sort it out, Wilson. And in case sharing, you're in the same room with your mics on, please mute.
Yeah. Which one is it? It's this one? Okay.
In the meantime, we're waiting for George to be able to sort his end as he's sharing his screen. So please give us like 2 minutes as we sort this technical issue. So apologies for that.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, everyone, for being so patient with us. Technology today wasn't our friend, but yeah, this is our new normal, and we have to get used to running the show with technology. I think George, you're now good to go, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. So once again, I'll just do my quick introduction. My name is George Butai. I'm the sales engineer, Axis Communications. And today I'm going to present the Axis A1001 network door controller plus the Axis Visit Access. And at the end of this webinar presentation, you'll be able to see how easy it is for our systems to integrate with CCTV, access control, and audio as well. Okay, so the Axis A1001 has been in the market for a couple of years and keeps evolving. To ensure this A1001 always meets the market trends, we continuously work with firmware updates in close cooperation with our customers. This means that this A1001 is always up to date with the latest functionality and features. It's also open and flexible. The access control market has a history of being primarily proprietary, which means that it's a closed system. You have limited choice for the end user, and you're locked into that particular brand or model or company or manufacturer. Axis has a vision to shift this market to open IP-based solutions, enabling flexibility and freedom of choice for the end user, both when it comes to the hardware and the software. We have done this, the same journey with our network cameras. So just to show how truly open we are, already from our beginnings, we have built our products on open platforms and supporting industry standards. This ensures that our products are easy to integrate with systems and products from other vendors, and thus create a specific customer solution. This Axis A1001 is truly open, giving our customers a freedom and flexibility to choose the best of breed products from any vendor, and peace of mind to know that their system will still be valid over the years to come. So there's a future. The system is actually future-proof, okay? And access control solution meets the needs of today as well as tomorrow. So there's also open standards, meaning flexibility to choose a freedom and flexibility to choose the best of breed products from any vendor, as I mentioned before. Using the best of breed software and hardware enables new solutions and optimal efficiency, such as the possibility to use different kinds of credentials as an identifier. For example, QR codes for the visitor, a license plate for the parking or garage, mobile phone for the employee, etc. A credential is so much more than just a traditional card. In this area, we work closely with multiple partners to find new and innovative ways of accessing a building. Both software and hardware can easily be exchanged over time, independent whether the business grows or the system requirements change. Our customers never need to worry about getting stuck with a solution that can't grow or meet their needs or their changing demands as well. So there's two pathways with our Axis A1001 and our access control system. So the Axis A1001 comes with an entry manager. So this controller has a software, inbuilt web software that is pre-installed. As such, it delivers standard access control functionality for small and medium-sized businesses or systems. Typically, we're talking about 33 doors, up to 33 doors using the controller. And then if you have more than 33 doors, then we are talking about using partner software, for example, Genetech, Milestone. On our website, there's a series of partners that have developed their own software that works on our controller. Okay. So this controller in itself that manages small to medium systems is ideal for small installations, like I mentioned before, and all the data is stored on the controller, and it's upgradable to other access control systems again. So it eliminates the need of a central server. There's no central server. It is scalable, and it's a fully distributed system. So there's no central server, there's no master or slave. All these devices are peers on the network. And then there's also, again, quick importation of existing card holders, sharing access management, just the typical access management credentials like creating groups, creating users, creating schedules, and the like. Okay. This is how the software looks like. This is what the embedded interface looks like that you access via your web browser. So you can clearly see it's straightforward. You don't have to be an expert in access control per se to manage and install this system. So it's very easy to manage users, doors, access control levels. You just drag and drop the persons you want. So you create groups, you create the users, and you give them access to certain doors and also schedule them. Okay, and then the report is also another very cool tool on the system, where you can generate different reports. So you can now filter again whatever you want in your reports based on the doors, based on the users, based on the schedules, based on the groups. So this report is quite versatile. Okay. Now, one of the biggest issues that waste time with access control installations, and I'm certain a lot of you can bear with me, is the installation. Especially, this wastes a lot of time with such installations due to incorrect wiring, or usually only you have one or two technicians that know what they're doing. The installation is quite straightforward and it's extremely easy. You just use a simple wizard when you set up. You define the type of readers, whether it's Wiegand or OSDP, RS485, whether you have door maglocks, whether you have door monitors, whether you have Rex buttons. And then once you define it in the wizard, it gives you a wiring pin chart for configuration that you can even print out and give to the technician to go to site. And the technician can clearly install it or wire it correctly from the word go. Okay. And this is typically how it looks like, the device. So there's multicolored pins, and it's straightforward to see where or how to wire it. Okay, so typically how it works, it's a PoE door controller. So it gets power from the switch, and so it's one wire. The same Cat6 cable from a PoE switch will power the controller. Then the controller itself will power the maglock, and it will power the readers. So there's no hard wiring of maglocks and readers separately. So this cuts off time for installation, and it again integrates into, since it's a PoE device, it's an IP device, it will integrate easily to other systems like a building management system, fire alarm systems, CCTV. So it is very easy to deploy. Again, it is also, you can also manage your access control remotely. Either through your mobile phone, you can get an email, you can set events and triggers based on access control. So in case you have, for example, the security manager or whoever needs to know every time access is granted, they get an email. For example, if access is granted to the power room or where there's a UPS room, and if it's a critical site and installation, the manager, the security manager, or whoever needs to know will be notified every time there's an entry granted. Okay. Then it opens you up to a lot of integration and open standards. So we foresee the movement towards IP will continue, and therefore creating integrations with other systems. Open standards act as a foundation for integration. A key benefit of integration is less systems to administrate and maintain, which leads to convenience and ease of use. We invest a lot in testing and making sure that Axis and our partner products work well together. For example, there's ONVIF Profile A and Profile C compliant. And this is a recent release. Profile A is a recent release of ONVIF that now has paved the way for broader access control configuration and establish a standard interface for access control clients. Again, there is OSDP. This is the primary global standard for secure communication between reader and controller. And then our own VAPIX, Axis VAPIX open APIs that uses standard protocols to enable integration with a wide range of solutions on different platforms. So almost all functionality available in Axis products can be controlled via VAPIX. For example, if someone enters or swipes a card to get into to gain access or entry, the camera picks it up, sends a snapshot, or there's a horn or audio speaker that will send out an alert. So all this, or send an email, all this is integratable using our VAPIX protocol or VAPIX API. So just a recap, what is VAPIX? It's just interoperability between devices. So a VMS can send configuration and action commands to cameras. For instance, a PTZ to spin and activate and zoom into a door, or an input-output device that can send a trigger, any trigger, It can also receive events from connected cameras, for example, tampering alarms or cross-line detection. So this bilateral communication is made possible by VAPIX, which is our own API. This is a command that or supports the setting and retrieval of internal parameters in our products. Okay. So there's a lot of benefits of open IP solutions and PoE. And as most of you know that to utilize existing network infrastructure, like power locks, readers, and other door equipment with PoE. Now, this device powers, like I mentioned before, it powers the reader, it powers the maglock, the door monitors, all that. So you just have one cable into the reader, into the controller. Okay. So there's less cabling. There's central power redundancy. So if your switch is on a UPS, then you don't need to worry about batteries and battery packs and redundant power supplies. So everything is clean powered supply from your switch and the UPS. Okay. And then there's, of course, easy installation. It is so straightforward. Like I mentioned, the color coding and hardware configuration wizard to verify installation. There is instant feedback of missing data. So if you have a user that is floating, is not in a group, has not been granted access to a door, or hasn't been put on a schedule, the system will flag immediately, and you're able to know exactly if everything has been configured correctly. And then, of course, is the efficient maintenance. IP makes it possible to remotely monitor and maintain your access control. So if you're not using a central server, you reduce cost. And the movement towards IP will continue, and therefore, it will create more integrations with other systems as you go along. A benefit of integration is less systems to administrate and maintain, which of course leads to convenience and ease of use. Okay. Like I mentioned, again, the A1001 lets you start with what you need and easily grows your access control in step with your business or with the requirements. So whether that means starting with access control for a single building and then later on expanding to the entire complex, or just to elevators, for example, or beginning with a standalone access control door, and then you add integration with other softwares in the future, this is already in place to ensure that you're future-proof. Okay. So we are committed to offering solutions and not just products, but a solution that will work. A key, one of the solutions that can easily work with in our system is our Access Visitor Access. This is an add-on application actually for the Access Entry Manager software that runs on the controller. So it makes it easy for small sites to grant visitors access using a QR code as a credential. And it lets people independently enter your premises and move through the accessible areas while allowing you to keep track of who is present at any given moment. So this is access made simple and convenient. So how does it work? How does the Access Visitor Access work? So first of all, you on step number one, there's a software that you download and install on a PC. Remember, I said on a PC, so it can be any PC or any laptop that has access on the network that will allow visitor access. So you create a visitor name with their name. You create a visitor with their name, email, and the date and time they are allowed to access. Then the visitor receives an email in step number two. The visitor receives an email with a QR code, which is simultaneously sent to the door controller now. So step number two is simultaneous to step number four. And then in step number three, when the visitor presents the QR code to a door station or a camera that is close by, the door station verifies the credentials, the QR code that the user shows or flashes on the camera or the door station. And then the door will be triggered open. So there's verification that the credential with the door controllers match, and then the door is open. Okay. So when a visitor arrives, so which is a very cool, this is actually a very cool feature for companies, as the reception can greet even the customers by name, because already when the customer places a QR code on the door, the person at the reception can see who it is and their names exactly. So you even you greet the customer by name, okay, and score some brownie points. So how does it work? Well, it works with the door controller, the A1001 door controller at the bottom there. And then there is the software that you download, the desktop software that does the invites. Okay, so it can be installed on any PC or laptop that is on the network. and it's not restricted to just one PC. It can be many departments who have their own visitors. They can invite or send out invites to whoever they need to invite or to the visitor. Okay, so you grant the visitor, you add the visitor, the software does the invites. Okay, you grant you configure the visitor name, date, and time of access allowed. Then the visitor gets a QR code so the system generates a QR code that you can send on email or WhatsApp to the end user or the visitor. Okay, so then the visitor will now grant or show it to the door station and grant access. Okay, that is really cool, and it's really straightforward. So just typical use cases with our Axis door station, what normally people refer to as intercom as well. Normally the call would pop up on the VMS. So if there's a VMS within the system, the moment the user pops up or shows up, then you can have two-way audio communication or conversation and grant access or deny. Okay. Just to mention that this is also another standalone solution that can work with barriers, with LPR. It supports SIP, so it can be integrated into the local network or local PABX or the local VoIP system. And also the mobile app that you can use to grant access or lock the doors even when you're out. So you can do this remotely. So we have different types of network video door stations. Just a quick overview of each of them. So we have the A8207-VE. This has a touchpad, a digital touchpad. And then there's a small one, A8105. You can see that they're all high resolution. And they all support SIP and our own VAPIX API as well. So then there's the A8004-VE. This is a more rugged door station that can be installed now on gates. It's weatherproof, it's vandal-proof, and can withstand a lot of harsh, probably weather conditions and some bit of force in case someone tries to damage it. Okay. So again, with the Windows applications, users create a visitor with a name and email, date and time of validity. The visitor, receives an email with a QR code, and they can enter any door with no further staff intervention, or the camera can act as the QR code reader. So you don't have to be physically there to usher the person in, but you can monitor exactly where they are. Again, you can grant individual visitors access at specific times. It can also be the cleaners or the people who come, or contractors who are scheduled to come at specific times and are allowed access to specific areas. And you can also revoke and change access immediately or whenever necessary. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, it's really cool to know when your visitors arrive. You can even address them by name. So the system, like I mentioned earlier, it is easy to upgrade, and it's also easy for users to manage the access rights, and also the visitor with the QR code. That's easy to use. So you just download the zip file, and everything is included with instructions. It has an intuitive app, and all you just need to use is to scan the QR code. Okay. So expanding the system, our controller can work with, again, license plate recognition, relay modules, third-party software. It gives the flexibility to combine access, entry and access. For instance, if the vehicle drives in with a license plate recognized, then it can have a two-step verification where the driver needs to enter a PIN code just to verify that it is actually the driver or the person who's allowed to drive that vehicle. So it's just a layered access control as well at the entry or at the gates or barriers. Okay. Now for the last integration, we already mentioned the integration of door stations into the camera station software. And you can have a controller managing visitor access. You can pull the door. You can pull the door controllers and the I/O modules for easy management of devices. Okay, so this is just a quick overview of how easy it is to set up rules. Okay, that in case a door is accessed, or if a door is forced open, it can take an action. Either the camera starts recording, or an alert is sent to the control room, the guards, or the application is brought to the front of the screen and takes over the screen in case there's other activities, or the screen is on another interface. So it can send triggers immediately. So this is a very proactive system that you can always schedule as well. It might be always on. It can be on the weekends. It can be at night. It can be at certain specific times. All this is configurable, and you can be able to define them. Okay. So again, you can embed this on a map and get live view alerts straight from the VMS. Okay. Now there's a nice application that one of our developers came up with. It's called CamOverlay. The CamOverlay app is a smart application that allows dynamic overlays, graphics in video, right on the Axis IP camera. With this app, you can add an overlay image and information of the person accessing a door. You can see on the image there on the left, that is me accessing a door, and immediately on the camera that is close by, it has a picture and a snapshot of me. Okay, so in case someone wants to probably share the QR code with someone else, okay, with this app, it can mitigate such eventualities. Okay. So this is good if in case you want to verify the person accessing that particular door. And with the overlay, you can even add other applications like weather, clock timers, or any dynamic. You can even embed your logo on those overlay graphics right into the live video stream. Okay, so I think just to end or to conclude, I'd just like to say that this solution is versatile and opens you up to a world of possibilities. Just feel free to contact me or our distributors, Hudaco. And I'd just like to thank you so much for your time, and let us know. Please give us feedback, and we'll be glad to help out. So if there are any questions, I'd just like to, answer. There's someone who has asked, can the solution be used in events? Yes. In fact, this is also a very cool solution for events where you can add all the invitees on the system, and when they show up, and send them QR codes. And when they show up immediately, they'll, if there's someone on a table or desk nearby, they can be able to see. So no need to write partner names on a book and register them again, because they're already invited. So this can also be used in events. Again, in case that, for example, if there's an event at a hotel or anywhere where parking is to be paid for, but the invitees are allowed free parking. So this can also be used to allow only the invitees to gain access or be granted access and not pay for parking. Okay. Yes, the QR codes are a good case with our current situation, especially with COVID-19. Now that we're not allowed to touch surfaces, and you'd only almost want to gain access without touching anything. This is actually a very appropriate time to look at such solutions. With now fingerprint and biometric being flagged now as as a possibility to spread this virus. So I think it is a good solution for such. Okay. Is there a limit of number of users? No, there's no limit in terms of number of users. You can, this is a visitor access management system. So in terms of the access control itself and the web portal, the limitation is 400 users. 400 users. Otherwise, if you have now want more than 400 users, we're looking at about 10,000 plus. Then we'll use any of our third-party software providers or developers. Okay. So in essence, there is no limit. Okay. But just straight out of the box, as it is packaged, it can handle 400 users. And I think this works well, especially in small and medium systems or businesses, where typically, to have 400 users, or more than 400 users, you'd be talking about, now a large system or an enterprise system. Okay. Does a QR code work if it has been forwarded to another device? How does it prevent fraud? That's a good question. Now, I mentioned with the CamOverlay app, at least you are able to verify who's getting, who's accessing the door. That's one. Two, with it's, I can say, then would have to, if fraud, or if there's risk of someone else getting in, you can have a two-step verification process. So that is just one of the ways of doing this. But I'm telling you, when it comes to fraud, then there is so much one can do. Or in terms of a system, there has to be now a layered security system if fraud can be a challenge. Okay, but this is typically a visitor management system. So a visitor is a visitor, whether they are, their intentions are known or not known, they will still more or less access or come through. but at least you have the details. The best thing is that this captures details. Okay, thanks, Frederick. Any other questions? So I think.
All right. Sorry, John.
Yep. Go ahead.
Right. I think we have addressed all questions. And as we come to the end of this session, we just like to recognize Charles, Edith, Frederick, Irene, Kenneth, Ngeno, Simon, and the rest of the Hudaco Kenya team, as well as the Access team, for such a vibrant session. This is the beginning of May. So we urge you to please look out for these invites, either through your email or from our LinkedIn page. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we will post this webinar session onto our YouTube channel, allowing you to be able to have access to it at your own free time. Please share, this with your colleagues, your peers, your friends, your partners as well, your clients. As we work on, enhancing the awareness around Access and the product suite, and how we can be able to position it and what kind of value it brings to the table, or what kind of challenges it addresses. So at this juncture, we'd just like to thank you very much once again. I'd like to wish you all a great Saturday afternoon and a fantastic weekend. Please look out for the email from us with details to the YouTube channel. Yeah, we just want to say thank you. Asanteni sana, and wish you all a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so